We move on to afternoon action. 4:05 p.m. We start Arizona Cardinals at Los Angeles Rams, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. And the vaunted, if a team has a season-defining win, you bet against them the next week, is in play here. So let's take a look at the market in this spot. We have the Rams opening up at -6. They're now at 4.5, a 1.5 point move towards the Cardinals. This total opened up at 53.5. It's now at 54 or 54.5. We go right to the cash flow in this spot. 5,132 tickets in. 44% of the tickets on the Cardinals on the spread, but 64% of the cash. And then 36% of the tickets on the under and 89% of the cash on the under. 89% of the cash on the under, and we've seen this in 4 or 5 different spots on this card, yet this total has gone up a point or a half point at every single card. Viper MB says, I'm on the Cards plus points for sure. Sammy Culmer said, bet Cardinals +6 this morning, already down to 4.5. Whack Prescott says, give me the Cards. Birdie says, second best look for me, Cardinals +6, and will be betting the Cards money line. Dennis Garcia says, I took Arizona +6 and over 53.5. Lukewarm in the 6. Wish I put more on the over. Cardinals coming off a 31-19 win at Jacksonville. The game was closer than the score indicates. Jacksonville led 19-10 after James Robinson's 4-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. Of course, that included that Agnew 109-yard run back. Cardinals improved to 3-0 for the first time since 2015. Kyler Murray, 28 of 34 for 316 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. James Conner ran 11 times for 43 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chase Edmonds ran 11 times for just 26 yards, but caught 7 passes for 49 yards. Connor Pick says, yup, Cards +6. AJ Green caught 5 passes for 112 yards. Christian Kirk caught 7 passes for 104 yards. Sammy Culmer says, since 2003, when 2 undefeated divisional opponents play, the underdog has gone 24-12-2 against the spread. Wow. Jordan Hicks was all over the field. 12 tackles, 1 sack. Marcus Golden had the other sack. Chandler Jones had 0 sacks, but 3 quarterback hits. Byron Murphy, 2 picks, returning 1 to the house. Arizona's offensive line was very strong. 0 sacks, 1 hit on Kyler Murray. But they lose 2 offensive linemen. Started Justin Pugh and backup Justin Murray left with back injuries. Both are listed as questionable. So is offensive tackle Kelvin Beachum. Cardinals backup cornerback Charles Washington injured his hamstring in the first half, and he is listed as questionable this week. Rams come in off a big 34-24 win at home versus the Bucs. Rams are 3-0 for the third time in McVay's 5 seasons. Stafford 27 of 38 for 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Deshaun Jackson, man. 3 receptions for 120 yards, 1 touchdown. He finished with 3 catches for 120. So that's 9 career touchdown receptions of at least 75 yards. That ties him with Lance Allworth for the most in NFL history. Let's get this guy out of the recording booth. Let's get him to stop producing hip-hop and start focusing on NFL again. Cooper Kupp, 9 catches for 96 yards. Sony Michel ran 20 times for 67 yards. Kenny Young was all over the field. 10 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for a loss. They got 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits on Brady. Linebacker Justin Holland suffered a pectoral injury. We're not sure how bad it is at this point. Cornerback Chris Harris and defensive tackle Justin Jones are questionable for this week. Bebsie, the chat all over the Cardinals at this point. But when we go to the poll, 35 votes, and now it's at 4.5, just 51% on the Cardinals. So that's interesting. We had our cappers in the chat back the Cardinals at +6. It's now 4.5. Bebsie, take it away.
I completely disagree with the chat here. I saw those numbers. I saw that stat. 24, 12, and 1 against the spread, the underdog. The Arizona Cardinals beat the Jaguars. One of the worst teams in football, the worst team in football last year, maybe the second worst team in the football this year. And they didn't beat them in stunning fashion. They should have lost to Minnesota. That was a shanked chip shot. And then week 1, yeah, okay, you beat the Titans. It was a solid performance. The Rams have been dominant. They spanked Tampa. They've got the best maybe the best two defensive players in the NFL. Aaron Donald, number one, unequivocally. And Jalen Ramsey's the best corner in the NFL, if you ask me, and one of the best defenders in the NFL. I do not see the Cardinals being able to roll with this Rams team, especially with the way they're playing under Matt Stafford. He's spreading the ball around. He's finally opened up McVay's playbook the way Goff couldn't. The biggest question mark right now is depth on defense and their running game. And that's just because they've had injuries. I understand from a number standpoint why you're betting the Cardinals here. But I can't get past the fact that I think the Rams are a vastly superior team. I think the Cardinals, they might be a fringe playoff team. I think 3-0 is that is not the team we're looking at. I think the Rams are a potential Super Bowl candidate. Like I get it. You're betting numbers, and I appreciate that. I just don't see it. I can't agree with the chat here. And you guys are all brilliant. There's so many good cappers, and you're all on the same page, which tells me I'm dead fucking wrong, but I don't feel that way.
I don't think this is betting numbers at all. It's just simply put, you fade a team after a season-defining win, and if that's the only bet you ever made in sports, you'd be filthy rich. And nothing to do with numbers.
I get that, but I understand that with certain teams. I don't feel this Rams team. Yeah, they beat Tom Brady, and that's very exciting for these guys. I don't know if that's a season-defining win. I think a bigger win for them is they're 0-4 in the last 4 games against the Niners, and McVay wants to prove Shanahan he could beat them. I think when they play, that's a bigger season-defining game for them.
Did you see McVay after the Deshaun Jackson touchdown? I mean, did you see him after the game? Birdie says the only bigger game the Rams will win this year will be the Super Bowl. Just like the Ravens last week, it took a 66-yard miracle to win. I think it's impossible to compare the Niners to the Tom Brady-led Super Bowl champions that have won 10 straight, personally. But, I mean, look – well, how about this? Are you going to make the Rams -4.5 as an official pick?
No, because I'd be crazy to go against all these sharp cappers.
This is a Cardinal spot, screaming Cardinal spot to me. But with that being said, I'd feel like an ass taking the 4.5 instead of 6, and it jumped right to 4.5 from 6 at Pinnacle, and it was at 6 this morning. I could have got him at 6 this morning had I been more on the ball, not overwhelmed with my own bullshit. So, Boogeyman says, "Damn it, McNellick's got me." Yeah, yeah, man, that got me too. Cardinals, Rams, no official pick right now for Bebsie. What do you think? And Boogeyman says Rams cover easy. What do you think of this total? A lot of thought here that the under might be a look. It's gone only up, though, and Dennis Garcia wished he had more money on this over. 53.5 it opened up at. It's now at 54.5.
I agree with Dennis here. I agree that. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring in this game. I might jump on this over with Dennis here.
Okay, well, why don't you think about it, because we got time. We'll do a review at the end of the show. Let's keep rolling. Unless you want to make it. Do you want to make that do you want to make that, or you want to spend a few minutes?
Let me mull that over in the back of my head.